for doing so much work to help this come together. So most of you know me through my work at Vote. I'm grateful that Norris is here, Dolphinette is here, and so many of you that have been involved in this work through that work that we do with Vote. Before I was involved with Vote, I was when I came down here 6 years ago to go to law school, as most of you know, and I went to two-lane law school, and I was a Vote member from the day I unpacked my stuff. And actually, I remember Calvin helping me with deal with my PO, and actually buying me a bicycle when I first came here. I mean, just the way that people have opened up their arms to me in this city has been wonderful. And when I was doing that, I was about 5 years out of prison, just off parole, decided to make some changes. But going back quite a ways, I was a guy who was locked up in prison, like several of my friends and some people that I don't know as well here also were. And I remember saying to a friend of mine, I was like, who do you know from here who's gone to college? And he's like, nobody. And not like someone in here, but like someone who got out of here and went on to college or whatever. We didn't know anybody. And I was like, well, how do we know the blueprint? How do we know the path? How can we get any kind of advice or any kind of workshop or mentorship about doing it? And so we had nothing. And I remember saying to this dude, I was like, look, man, we got to set the bar as high as we can when we get out of here. And that'll maybe give a lot of space for other people to come in and do something else. If you get a PhD, someone else can get a BA. If you get a BA, maybe someone else can get an AA. Like, we got to do big things. Now, of course, we are crazy pantses, right? To be sitting there thinking that we could be more than some sort of minimum wage whoever. Now, this was a guy who, his mom was like scrubbing houses while he was locked up, and his brother was also struggling on the outside. A child of immigrants, and didn't graduate high school, went to prison. Myself, I think I graduated high school, I'm not even sure, went to prison. No one in my family had been to college. And today, his name's Andre Sidaraga. He has a degree from Brown, he has a degree from Yale Law School, and he's a lawyer, barred lawyer in Miami, and worked previously with a fancy law firm that had the Bush v. Gore case. And he's an amazing individual. But we were crazy to think that we were better than what people expected of us. Right? We were supposed to just get GEDs. We were supposed to just get like a trade. Maybe keep our head down, work in a factory. Don't have too much happiness, or else someone will say that you don't deserve that happiness. And we just put our heads down and we struggled and we tried. And soon thereafter we met this guy, Noah Kilroy, who we weren't locked up with, but he was locked up in the same prison. And Noah, similar type of story. And our joke now is like, black guy, white guy, and a Latino get out of college. But we got out of prison, but we got out of law school, so we all got law degrees now. And so Noah is in Rhode Island, and he works actually for the city solicitor, but he also has his own private firm. He does a lot of parole stuff in the way that Norris does, but he's got a law degree around it, and helps people with cases in that way. And so around 2012, I think it was my 2L year, Dre was graduating from Yale, and we knew it was like time for us to really do something. Noah was in his 3L year, and so we decided we were going to put in $1,000 each, and we were going to give 2 scholarships of $1,000 each, and create a system where people could apply, and through that application they could get these workshops, get this mentorship, and it worked. And we had enough, me the agitator, I had enough connections of the criminal justice system up there, and then those 2 guys, unlike me, were seen favorably by the system. I was the squeaky wheel that they wanted to throw away for how many years in solitary, and so we put it all together. We came up with a formula, and we've given out, this will be our 4th year, and it was actually one of our scholars, one of our flagship scholars, who decided for us, he was like, y'all should, he didn't use the word y'all, you guys should, you should give out less money to more people, because each person who gets it feels so connected, so special. And any one of us, and there's some people here that have done some really amazing things, there was that thing you went for, that fellowship, that award, that something or other. And sometimes, you know, it's not even just getting it that's the big thing. Hey, Jules. What's up, Mike? It's not just the getting it that is the big thing. It's what happens along the way, right? Sometimes you hone that proposal that didn't get funded, but now it's this brilliant proposal that you used elsewhere. And so for us, it's people writing these scholarship applications, and then sometimes 2-3 years in a row. And we see them get better along the way. And they want to get down with this. They want the workshops. They want the mentorship. Next week in Rhode Island, in every one of the securities, we're doing workshops for everyone that wants to come. Not just our scholars, but everyone wants to come about sort of how you do it, the financial aid, the barriers, did you register for selective service, things that a lot of folks just wouldn't even think about, but you don't really know until you've been there that you don't get that waiver unless you were able to register for selective service because you were in the prison the whole time. So helping people to go through all that stuff, and we had gotten college acceptance letters prior to going to the parole board, believe it or not. We were locked up in the prison and applied to college. You can imagine, those of you who work in the scholarly setting, reading this application from prison. Who is this lunatic? Who thinks that they're going to just come out and just take classes and do fine? Yeah, this lunatic. And, I think almost, probably 75% of the people that really supported me coming to Tulane are in this room, when I first came. And when controversy hit, because here's this person going to your school, you didn't see the mayors jump up and saying that. You didn't see the governor jump up and saying that. You didn't see a lot of people that maybe were in position to say, this is actually what we want to see. They were petrified. They didn't have an analysis. They weren't ready for this. So, as we always do, and there's some of my mentors here, Wood Fox and Norris and Calvin, Nelson. I mean, there's people where we had to do our own thing. We had to be the jailhouse lawyer. We had to figure it out for ourselves. And so TTEF is a figuring out for ourselves. And I knew that I wanted this to be in Louisiana to be with all the other work that I'm doing. It's not like a huge endeavor, it's like taking some money from some people and giving it to some others, providing some mentorship, providing some workshops. And kind of once you get the ball rolling, it's almost easy, and the DOC kind of ends up embracing it. So it's kind of easy once you really formulate and get the boots on the ground. And we're grateful that we ended up getting a little influx of loot where we could get our first actual employee. And so I reached out to Annie and said, this is all coming together perfectly because we want to branch out in Louisiana. There's 45,000 potential incarcerated scholars. Annie, what percentage were college ready?
33%.
So 33% are college ready that are locked up out of 45. That's like 10,000 people that might be interested in applying for this scholarship. And in Rhode Island, we have it also for people who are recently released, so like within a year. So you can imagine if we were to have the same rules here, which I don't see why we wouldn't, the tens of thousands of potential applicants. And so the need to have people who can read the applications to hone it down and make judgments. The need to bring together additional dollars so that we can find a way to award as many scholarships as we can. But at the same time, keeping it to a way where it really is this like manageable golden ring where we can really make sure that those that do get it like really succeed, because those people are then going to be people like myself who can then take that same position and reach back just the same. So Annie, why don't you tell us just a little bit about maybe the lay of the land of Louisiana prison education?
Sure. Well, that's not really what I prepared for, but yeah.